Hello everybody, this is Oliver from NEO, and my mission is to introduce you to the best organic green tea directly from Japan. And today what we are going to talk about is two Fukamushi styles, one Shincha and one Sencha. So Fukamushi, some of you might know, is a deep steamed tea. And what I want to dive into today is really to compare an early spring harvest called the Nuruki Shincha versus the later harvested Yabukita Asatsuyu Sato Yamaga Fukamushi. And these two teas are very particular, each one of them, one from the very south, from the island of Kyushu. So the Nuruki Shincha is from the Kyushu island, and it's from the very south. It's also the island where Kagoshima is situated. One of the famous farmers which we have, or what tea we have from there, is the Gyokuro from Mr. Sakamoto. And then we have Shizuoka, is the biggest region of production in Japan nowadays. It is said that they produce around 50% of all the tea in this region. So all the Japanese green tea, 50% is produced there. And there, from this region, we have the Sato Yamaga Fukamushi. So these two tea, I want to compare them just to have a look at them. When you look at one, like for example, if we start with the Fukamushi from Mr. Sato, the Fukamushi from Mr. Sato is a mix of two cultivars of Asatsuyu and Yabukita. Asatsuyu is known to be a very early cultivar, very sweet, very flavorful. Meanwhile, the Yabukita is adding a little bit more of these grassy tones, a little bit more of the fresher tones. Also, Yabukita coming from Shizuoka, known for me a little bit on the fresher side, more the citrusy side. So a very, very interesting mix of a sweet and a little bit grassy, refreshing cultivar. The Nuruki is a mix of Saimidori, but also from early cultivars. Saimidori is quite a fast-growing cultivar as well. And then we have here as well some other cultivars mixed into them. And these two teas, I want to compare them. I really want to see how are they different, or how they're similar maybe in taste profile, and to really see what are actually the differences of these two teas. Both of them have very small leaves, Fukamushi style, very kind of a little bit of brittle leaves. And this then makes a full round flavor profile of these two teas, and that's what I want to discover today in parallel of these two teas. So let's dive directly into it. For this, I brought my two Kyushus. So Kyusu and Kyushu, I have to play around with the words. So Kyusu, which is the Japanese green tea pot. So I'm just gonna pour 5 grams of this tea into the Kyusu, and then we just gonna add around 150 milliliters of 60 degrees of water. Then we're gonna not brew it too long. So we're just gonna wait for around 45 seconds to 1 minute. This is more than enough. Fukamushi, as the surface of the tea is very, very big, so the tea leaves are smaller, so a lot of water can touch the leaves on many sides. That's why you don't need to brew the tea very, very long. When you have a very tightly rolled, long needle Gyokuro, for example, there you need to brew it around 2 minutes, maybe even go up to 3, but normally I brew them around 2 minutes. But these two teas, we really don't have to brew them for a very, very long time. So now I'm curious, but they already look quite good. So we're just gonna make a parallel. And then pour them into the glass. Now it's good. So what can we see in the first brewing? So what you can see already, the Nuruki has more of a greener touch. Normally Fukamushi is known from the ads, which are these very, very green and beautiful teas. And we can see that there's a slight difference between these two. They're very, very close together, but finally you can see that you have a difference. Here the tea, the Fukamushi from Mr. Sato, here the Shincha from Nuruki or Shincha Nuruki. Good. So then let's go directly into the taste of these two teas. Very sweet, fruity. I have a little bit of lychee, I have a little bit of ripe mango, or kind of a little bit of papaya as well. So I have mango, papaya, a little bit of lychee. I have now a slight refreshing tone coming in. So the Fukamushi from Mr. Sato, definitely strong on the fruity side. Let's see if I get a little bit of the grassiness of the Yabukita. There's a slight grassiness to it, but the fruity tastes, they're definitely lingering, they're definitely strong, they're definitely showing more of kind of a beautiful, sweet, fruity taste note. Now, let's try it with the Nuruki. So here I got much more of a grassy tone with it. So I have a sweet tone with this tea, but definitely we have a grassy tone coming with the flavor of this tea. We have much more of kind of a citrusy, a little bit more of a refreshing tone. So this tea, even though it is a Shincha compared to a Sencha Fukamushi, it has more of these grassy or typical grassy tones with it. Meanwhile, here we got a lot of fruitiness, sweetness, a little bit of mango, a little bit of papaya, a little bit of these lychee notes. Here we directly into a more of a spinachy flavor profile. It's kind of followed by a small hint of citrus or citrusy notes. But still very sweet. Here I have a little bit more of also a nuttiness, a little bit of a sweet, nearly banana flavor. It's going in this direction, while here I got much more this kind of powerful fruitiness of a mango, of papaya. So here it goes a little bit in the banana section, but then shows a little bit more of this grassy, or like the grassiness is coming up and then flowing over into a small citrusy note. So definitely, if I compare these two teas, here we are much more on the fruity section, and here we have much more of kind of these grassy tones in the tea. But let's go to the second brewing. Good, we're just gonna leave it in for 20 seconds. So these 20 seconds, they're nearly through. And what I already can see from the color is that actually the Nuruki, so the Shincha, is showing much more of kind of a cloudiness. So I expect the Nuruki to be really green. Meanwhile, the Sato Fukamushi is not that green, but now I'm curious to see. So let's just pour these two teas. And now you can really see the beauty of these two teas. So just already in color, it's amazing how the second brewing, how strong this second brewing is in terms of color. Both teas very close together. The Nuruki a little bit of a more darker tone, but both of them very strong in the green color. And this is what I love, this is what I like about the two teas, that they really develop this intense green. Just look at it, how intense they are. It's very intense. And now I really want to know how this second brewing is. Good. First, we're gonna start this time with the Nuruki. There's a little bit of a corn flavor, sweet caramelized corn flavor coming in, but still I have this strong grassiness with it. So you have kind of this sweetness, which was before a little bit of this banana sweetness, is now changing into a little bit of a corn sweetness, and then you have the grassiness and the freshness of the citrusy notes clearly coming in the second brewing, much stronger, much more dominant. A little bit of astringency is also showing up with the tea. So this kind of citrusy note, which was announcing itself already in the first brewing, now in the second brewing got much more intense. And here, very impressive how this tea changes from kind of a more of a sweet, fine banana tone sweetness going into a caramelized corn freshness of the grass, and then this kind of not overwhelming but pretty strong refreshing note coming in. And now I want to know how the second brewing of Mr. Sato's Fukamushi Sencha is. Still very sweet. I have a little bit more of the Yabukita coming into the present. So when the Yabukita is showing more in the tea or in the brewing, you have more of this kind of grassiness. You have a little bit of a tingling. There's a little bit of a dryness also coming with the tea, but very slight, still very fruity. Definitely, I still have this mango. This now lychee is much more dominant, so it's somehow this top sweet note of the lychee, kind of the very sweet and tingling kind of sweetness on the top of the tongue is much stronger. And I have a little bit of a grassiness in there, but still I'm looking for kind of a maybe a refreshing tone, which is normal for Shizuoka teas. But I only have a slight tingling, a little bit of a dryness, which announces normally a little bit of the astringency. But here in the second brewing, still we are very good in terms of flavor, very good in terms also from the sweet spectrum. So this tea stays definitely more in the sweet section, while this here brings really a nice refreshing tone with the second brewing with it. Okay, but now I want to see how is brewing number 3. Also only 20 seconds, that's more than enough. And now I want to see how the tea tastes. And also with this one here, you can still see a very strong green, very intense in this Fukamushi style, intense color, very beautiful. Just wow, that's green tea, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking ever for a massive or very intense green color, go for Fukamushi, go maybe for Shincha. This also can be absolutely the case. And just try for yourself what is a little bit the taste notes you like. When you like a little bit this fruity, round, sweet tones, then you should definitely try Fukamushi. There are some bitter or more astringent Fukamushis out there, but this one here, I must admit, second brewing, first brewing, very fruity. Now I'm curious how number 3 will be. So let's start with Mr. Sato's Fukamushi. Okay, so what we have definitely, so Mr. Sato's Fukamushi is good for the first, for the second, but the third brewing starts to dim down. So we are losing a little bit of taste. So here, if you really were only looking for this intense sweet taste, first 2 brewings definitely good. Now this tea gets much softer, more delicate, and less strong in its flavor. But still very fruity, Now I got a little bit more of astringency. So here I got in the third brewing a little bit of astringency showing up. It's getting a little bit more citrusy, gets a little bit more fresh, but still a long and strong sweetness in the tea. I got this mango flavor, a little bit of this lychee flavor. So more than a third brewing, I wouldn't say that Mr. Sato's tea would give. So here, 3 brewings is the max. Let's go with Mr. Naruki. And here we have much more of the stringency showing up. So I think with the Naruki, the mix or the good mix will be if you really stay on a low temperature, and it shows a little bit more of the stringency, a little bit more of these fresh tones coming in. So in the end, it turns quite well into a little bit more of a fresher tea, a little bit more citrusy tea, a little bit more of a dry tea as well. So the dryness I had here in the second brewing, in the third brewing, it was not so dominant anymore, and here I got more of an astringency. So I think the Naruki Shincha is very, very important that you keep the temperature low, not go much higher than 60, maybe even try 50, so 140 Fahrenheit or 125. Be in this kind of scale, try to brew this tea there, because when you go a little bit high, this one here shows a nice, a refreshing tone, but it could be for the one or the other a little bit too astringent. So the third brewing definitely showed me now. I heated up the water a little bit, and now I'm around, I would say 65, maybe 70 degrees, not higher, but here on the third brewing, I'll definitely am a little bit more in the section of the refreshing, citrusy, or even a little bit astringent tones. Good. So this was 3 brewings of these twos. So we have 2 teas, very similar in their color, very similar in their kind of aspect, how they look, but very, very different in taste profile. So whatever you go for, try maybe yourself a little bit through the teas. Try once a Fukamushi, try once a Shincha from the south, here from the north, let's say north, closer to Tokyo, Shizuoka, Kyushu, so Kyushu and Shizuoka, so two very different teas from different regions, different farmers, different blends, but very similar aspect in how they look like. So try yourself through, see what you like, and let me know. I will be amazed if you could leave a comment down there and tell me how you liked them. Bye. I wish you a great evening. See you soon, and bye bye.